Let's get some perspective now from Capitol Hill. Republican Congresswoman María Elvira Salazar of Florida joins us now. Congresswoman, thanks so much for sharing part of your afternoon with us. I first want to get your reaction to President Biden taking steps to fortify the border. He's using money that was approved during the Trump administration to expand that border barrier in South Texas. It's a new approach for the White House. So is this a step that you applaud?
It's highly hypocritical. That's what it is. And that's why the American public is so upset with elected officials in both parties, because sometimes elected officials say one thing and they do another. And this is the perfect example, as you just reported very accurately, that 3 years ago, President Biden said that it was inhumane and that he was not going to continue building the wall. And whether the wall is necessary, we need technology, which I'll explain to you later. But the reality is that this is a political move and the American people see through it.
Effectively,
the desperation is so big in this country.
Whether Biden is going back on a promise or not, effectively, is this a step that you support?
Well, I'm glad that you're asking me. I'm the only member of Congress that has written a bipartisan law in order to solve the problem at the border. And it includes, and for those who are watching me, I just want to point out that I have done a major study, and the wall, the border, in order to be secured, needs more than physical structures, needs drones, needs more border patrol, it needs infrared cameras, it needs drones, it needs towers, it needs a lot of technology. And obviously it needs physical barriers. But everything that we're talking about right now is all political. 3 years ago, President Biden should have sat down and say, okay, so what's needed right now in order to secure the border and not to have the crisis that we have right now, but they didn't do it. And since now everything is just escaping their hands, now they're going back to this.
It sounds like you do support the move. We should note that some of the money is also going to things that you mentioned, additional security around the border. And it does appear that the White House is open to addressing that security aspect of the immigration crisis, the biggest motivator for Republicans. Have you gotten any feedback from members of your conference about the other side of the immigration debate, and that is expanding access to asylum claims?
Well, the asylum claim is another problem that we have. The asylum system is really broken because people are gaming the system. That's why in my law, the Dignity Act, I am creating humanitarian centers, which are where people will be welcomed if they are claiming for asylum, in order for us to determine if they have any merit. Is a yes, is a no, or it's a maybe in 60 days. Immigration is broken from the legal to the illegal system, including the border, including the southern border. It's time for Washington to do something. It's not the White House, it's not DHS, it's Congress, the one who has to legislate and create a piece of paper, legislation that will solve from A to Z, because these are just little patches. Don't you see it? Now, after 3 years, they're desperate. What are we going to do? Oh, my God, let's go back to what the former president created. So you see, that's all politics. That's why in Congress, we need to be serious and create legislation that will solve the problem once and for all.
You did introduce that bipartisan. You did introduce that bipartisan Dignity Act. It has not gotten a whole lot of traction, and I think part of it has to do with specifically members of your party being opposed to reworking the asylum system to make it more accessible. Is that something that you've brought up in conversations over who should become the next speaker?
It's both parties that need to educate themselves and understand what is it that we need. It's the Democrats that need to understand that for the first time, they have agreed that the border needs to be secured. And it's for the Republicans to understand that we have to secure the border. We passed H.R. 2, which is very strong border security measures. But at the same time, we need to then understand, what are we going to do with those people who have been here illegally for years and do not have a criminal record? So we need to continue. We need to avoid what happened in the last 3 years, where we have 6 million illegals coming into the country, and that's why the mayors of major cities are up in the screen.
Congresswoman, immigration is obviously something you're extremely passionate about. Is it something that you've discussed either with Jim Jordan or Steve Scalise as they try to seek support in their effort to become the next House Speaker?
That's a very good question. I haven't had the time to do that, but I assure you that that is going to be what I'm going to be talking to them about. Because, like I said, we come to Congress to pass laws that are bipartisan is the only way that we will make it through the Senate and to the president's signature. So that's why we need to do. Let's be responsible and pass laws that will make it to be applied. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to posture or message. I'm trying to solve the problem. We have three problems in this country: the border, Ukraine, and spending. Those three problems Congress can fix.
So right now, the House is effectively frozen in its effort to address those things because there is no speaker. One of the things that you mentioned has been tied potentially in some sort of deal with border spending, and that is aid for Ukraine. Would you support say Steve Scalise or Jim Jordan, if they came to you and said, if I have your vote, the first thing I'll do is put forward a deal that not only enhances border security spending, but secures aid for Ukraine? Is that something you would support?
Of course, we cannot abandon Ukraine. As you know, I represent the city of Miami, the heart of the Cuban exile community. We know what the Russians can do. We know what Mr. Putin does to people. He did it to the Cubans. So we know that right now, not one American soldier has died in Ukraine. Number two, only 5% of the military budget is dedicated to Ukraine. And number three, if we abandon Ukraine, we know that the war is going to be a lot bigger and a lot wider than just the Ukrainian territory. It could touch NATO. It could touch Poland. We know that there is no accountability for Mr. Putin. So it's time to stop him without shedding American blood. So yes, we have to support Ukraine, because if we don't, it's going to be a very big problem for all of us in the near future.
Congresswoman María Elvira Salazar, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it.
To you.